When recreational marijuana comes, it's going to be regulated and tested and safe.
People shouldn't be going to jail for being in possession of small amounts of marijuana because they're not hurting anybody.
There's not going to be also food served, like you're not going to be able to get a hamburger and be able to consume your marijuana.
Dispensaries that have been operating under that temporary authorization have to get a state license in order to continue to distribute marijuana.
There's 47 states that have legalized some form of marijuana, either medically or recreationally. It's time for all of these people to be removed from prison. There's been 75 dispensaries, medical dispensaries in the city of Detroit that have also been waiting and hoping that they would be given the first opportunity for a recreational retail license. What we're talking about now is the regulated industry that the state of Michigan is introducing in 2018. Michigan's never had that. Up from between 2008 and 2017, Michigan has had nothing more than caregivers that are providing their marijuana to patients.
Young people are going to use cannabis or alcohol. What's important is that if we regulate it, then there'll be less young people using it, and the cannabis that they find is not going to be in the black market. The black market will be significantly lessened if there's regulated marijuana. So that's exactly what needs to happen for less young people to use it.
Those dispensaries that have been operating under that temporary authorization have to get a state license in order to continue to distribute marijuana. There's 277,000 patients in the state of Michigan, all over the state of Michigan, and most of them are relying upon getting their medicine from regulated dispensaries.
Rudy is one of the first people to provide a medical marijuana dispensary in the city of Detroit that was permitted by the city. It's my goal to see to it that he is released from prison.
They were prosecuting him as a continuing criminal enterprise, right? Because Rudy has all of these homes.
Allowing people to grow marijuana in buildings that he owned to service the community.
We demonstrated that there was a bona fide relationship with his physician that had certified him for the use of marijuana, that he was in possession of the marijuana for his personal medical use, that he uses quite frequently, quite often, in several different forms, and so the amount of marijuana that he had here wasn't unnecessarily large.
The 10th Amendment of our Constitution states that the states have the right to regulate and legalize things within their state that don't have any commerce throughout the states, and so we have the ability to do that. Republicans agree with that position, and Congress agrees with that position. Congress should represent the people, and the people say, 70% of the people say there should be some form of legalization of medical marijuana or adult use marijuana, and that's exactly what Congress needs to be getting on board with, regardless of what Jeff Sessions wants to do. You should know that the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment has precluded the Department of Justice from spending any money on medical marijuana initiatives with respect to states that have medical marijuana laws. That's about to be renewed probably on January 19th, and this is something that Jeff Sessions is about to do, is explode this issue so that all these congressmen can really get on board, because they represent the people, and the people say they want medical or recreational marijuana.
What's a fair consequence? Is it fair in a city that has decriminalized marijuana to have your car taken? That's not fair. Asset forfeiture laws are designed to take the instrumentalities from drug dealers from continuing to use cars in their ability to sell and distribute drugs. That's what asset forfeiture is for, right? It is definitely not for this.
The Safe Banking Act is a historic federal bill and legislation that was introduced into the House recently, and then has gotten through its committee, the Financial Services Committee, and now is going to be the first positive cannabis reform bill to be voted and likely to be passed, because this is the biggest
bipartisan legislation.
It is. And it is the biggest problem federally with respect to our industry, which is the lack of traditional financial banking services that the industry does not have right now. And so our legislature, our Congress, is doing something about that, and I'm very, very hopeful that that's going to pass very soon. And then we just reintroduced, or Congress just reintroduced, the States Act, which I think is also very likely to get some favorable treatment within a committee and perhaps get to a floor for a vote and become law. And it basically says that every state has the right to do what they're doing now. Michigan has the right, and what we've done is legalize recreational adult use marijuana and medical marijuana.
And that's where it gets into the 10th Amendment there.
Right, and the 10th Amendment says that as long as we're not interfering with any other states, we're not interfering with interstate commerce, then we have the right to do with what we want within our state. And we don't, as long as we're not interfering, we're not trafficking marijuana or anything out to other states like Ohio or Wisconsin, we get to, the States' Rights Act gives us that right to continue to do that, and that will allow for some better banking scenarios to open up, and also tax issues that are holding the industry back as well.